All right, so this I guess should be good enough. So we're gonna put together a slot actor for this, and it's just gonna be attached like this to the quiver, and this is just a makeshift quiver. You probably won't like it. That's fine. It's just a makeshift. It's just a dummy. I really advise you guys to use your own weapons. Uh, I didn't make these weapons with the ideal that you would be using those specific ones in your game in mind. These are just dummy weapons. That's it. They're just stand-ins. That's their point. That's the point in them. Okay, so yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create one of these slot actors here. And we can just go to the master of this one right here. And this will be on the back. You don't really have to put them in these folders like I have. I just did that just to kind of make it more obvious here what's going on. I might do something like that. That was a leftover apparently. Yeah, so I'll say back, shoulder, or bow. So I'll have the bow on the right shoulder. Actually, I'm thinking maybe it would actually make more sense if the bow was on his left shoulder, because he is going to be holding it with his left hand. I'm just wondering if, let's see. So say it's on his shoulder like that, he might be able to actually, I've got the rifle on the left shoulder, so it would conflict with the rifle location. You know, some of these decisions you're going to have to make for your game, it may require, you'd only be able to hold, certain weapons at any specific time, like in Red Dead Redemption. You can only hold, one two-handed, I think you can only hold a two-handed weapon and a single-handed weapon. Like a pistol and a rifle, but you can't hold like two different kinds of rifles at the same time, or like a rifle and a shotgun. I don't think. It's been a while since I've played it. But yeah, I think I'll probably end up just having this over here on the left shoulder. And maybe have it sideways like that, so it actually kind of looks like he's holding it. Looks like if he holds it like that, it's going to clip into his stuff right here. I'd have to have yeah, you wouldn't want to You wouldn't want to you wouldn't want to wear a bow like that in real life because that string is actually pretty tight on a bow in real life, and that would put a lot of pressure on your chest. I mean, this is a game, so you could, I guess, get away with it, and you could like have a, bow on back pose where it kind of stretches it out. But this is this is a thing about bows, man, is, like they're big and they take up a lot of space here, and so it may end up being a little difficult for you to find a good position or a good way to position it onto the back. But yeah, I think we can find we could probably find a position like this. Now, there's probably going to be some clipping in some instances where, whenever he's running a certain way, his arm's probably going to be swinging and clipping into it. Just letting you know now. But whenever we add physics to those later on, then that might help prevent the clipping. So let's just go ahead and start actually setting this up. So let me just that's a static mesh, right? I don't know what I'm doing here. That's right. Okay. So there we go. Now, whenever it attaches it, it's actually going to attach it to a socket on it. So if we come over here to the back one, for example, let me try to find one over here because those are looking, I don't know, maybe bugging out on me, those other ones. Okay, yeah, so it's called holster, the socket name is. That's what, right, and you can actually find that on the character blueprint. So let's say I come over here to the character blueprint on my AC slot manager, you'll see that the holster socket name it expects it to be. It's called holster. So, and you'll see that's where it's going to actually attach the item. So we're going to create a holster socket here for this one. And what we're going to do is open up this guy. And I know I have a lot of crap opened up here now. I need to start like, I guess I could start closing some of these for now. All right. Yeah, so we'll want to we'll want this to be on the actual clavicle here. So we'll add a socket to the okay. I have to wait for the motion matching stuff to run its course. It does this every time you modify the skeleton in any way. You have to sit through this. It's ridiculous. I hope one day in the future, hopefully in the near future, we won't have to just sit here and wait for 30 seconds for that to complete before we can make another change to the skeleton. Because it's a bit aggravating for this to happen every single time you make one small modification. So bow, shoulder, R. It's going to do this again. Let's see. Is it? Okay. It actually didn't do it that time. I'm surprised. So what I want is, okay, that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually drag this out into the world like this. Animation asset. And that's going to be the idle loop right there. And I need to go back to where that blueprint was. This one right here. And I'm just going to drop that in the world too, so I have one in the world as a reference. But this is going to come over here. Actually, I want this to be right here. And I'm going to attach this to that, and it's going to be on the bow shoulder R. And I'm going to unrotate it and zero out the transform. And then I'm going to come over here to this guy, and I'm going to rotate it in the viewport. Okay, it's acting up on me. It might not be updating it. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to flip-flop back and forth in order to get this to update. It's not gonna update in real time for some weird reason. Maybe if I simulate, let's simulate it. I bet if I'm simulating it, it'll update in real time. Yeah, see? There we go. Sometimes it bugs out and it makes me unclick on it inside of this viewport. It's kind of a weird bug. I don't know why it does that, but it does. Fairly annoying bug, but it's not that bad, I guess. Okay, so that'll work for now. So I'm gonna stop that for a minute. And then I want to attach this to the holster socket of that. So I'm going to attach that to this one, to the holster. Okay. And then we'll simulate it again. Actually, let me reset that. And then we'll simulate it, and we'll come back over here. And we can move this around here. Let's see. Yeah, that looks like it's going to be a little bit in the way. I want to try to keep it as much out of the way as I can without it clipping too much into the body. His head might clip it a little bit right there, but I think that's probably pretty close to being okay. It looks like it's clipping into his body still a little bit. I'm probably not going to be able to prevent it from completely clipping anywhere. Okay, yeah, that's actually looking pretty much on point. That'll probably be okay just like that. And now whenever it gets attached, it'll get attached to this just like that. Yeah. Now what we need to do is we actually need to give it some, we need to give them gameplay tags. So and that's going to be assigned right here. So we don't actually need to fill out that stuff there. That can all be zeroed out. We do need a gameplay tag for it. So we're going to go to our gameplay tags. Again, I know it's not actually a gun, but maybe I should have named those projectile weapons or something, you know. But anyway, it's not gonna. It's not like the end all. It's not gonna cause any serious problems. I'm just gonna call it like that. So that's the actual, yeah, and we'll call this recurve. Recurve bow. And let me, I guess, just like, I just want to reference this because I haven't set these up in a while, so even I kind of get a bit rusty here. Yeah, hip, gun, pistol, all right, so that's the accepted slot tags. That means that this is what, you know, the slot. So if we come over here to our character blueprint, we have to set up a slot for it to begin with. So I'm gonna set up another, I'm gonna add another item slot here. And this is going to, well, we need to open up the character blueprint. Sorry if I got quiet there. I kind of like stepped away a little bit from the mic. So hopefully that didn't ruin the entire recording. So bow shoulder R, we want this socket name to be bow shoulder R. So if we come over here, you'll see we have rifle shoulder L, and this one's going to be bow shoulder R. Preferred reaching hand, it's going to be left hand. We're just going to say left hand because this is the actual hand that's going to be that it's going to be attached to. You might see that the right shoulder right here is or the shoulder on the left, the left shoulder is actually the right hand. That's actually the hand that you're actually it's going to actually be attached to. I should probably go back and rename that. Yeah, maybe we might need to. And then you'll see this is a slot actor back gun rifle, whereas this is the slot actor hip, right? So you have your actual item tag, which is the tag of the item that can be attached to this, and then this is the tag for the slot with which this can be attached. So we want this to be the same as we set here on our bow, which is slot actor back gun bow. And don't worry about this attached slot actor. This is a reference that gets set by the actual AC slot manager. You don't have to worry about those. Yeah, so just remember that the preferred reaching hand, that's basically the hand that it's going to be attached to. Basically what this does is this is what's used to decide which hand needs to be freed in order for us to grab for this item. So if we're grabbing it with the right hand, then it's going to make sure that the right hand is freed, that we put away that weapon before we reach for it. That's basically all that does. And if we need to free any of the other hands whenever we start actually equipping it, then they'll also be freed. So you don't really have to worry too much. This just guarantees that that hand gets freed whenever we go to equip the weapon. That's all that means, really. And we don't have to start with these slot actors. We can pick them up off the ground. So I'll just add the bow here. And this is a container, a gameplay tag container. So you can have it set up so that these slot actors can be attached to multiple slots, which means that you can potentially have, 4 or 5, like say grenade slots, and then you can have a grenade holster, which can be attached to one of any of those, 4 or 6 grenade slots where the grenades can go into. That's the reason why I made this system the way I did. It's a lot more robust than it may seem right on the surface, but yeah, I tried to think of everything as I was making this, but you can't always think of everything, and so the system, it's not going to be infinitely flexible, guys, in case you maybe thought it was going to be. It won't be infinitely flexible. It's just an unfortunate truth. So the held object state bow, yep, that's the actual gameplay tag. We want to make sure that that's an accepted item tag. Just like right here, you'll see held object state pistol M9. This one allows for the bow to be attached. So that should be all we need to do right here for that. And I think it should just work now. Let me see here. Yeah, okay, so I have that right over here. I'll add the little arrow to it here in a minute. Yeah, so there that goes. Yeah, look at that. It just automatically got attached to it. Okay, so that's working cool. That might have been what it was doing right off the bat. I'll look into that. I'll fix that because I don't think it's actually automatically supposed to just holster it whenever you pick it up. I don't think it's supposed to do that. So that's probably a bug. I'm gonna fix that so it doesn't automatically holster it. Because it's supposed to just equip it. It's not supposed to holster it. I'll fix that. Anyway, yeah. Alright, so let's just go ahead and add our little arrow there. So I'll put the arrow in there, but I may end up like rearranging it inside of there. I'm just going to go ahead and delete these. And I will add this to blueprints, held object bow. Yeah. And we could actually add it under here like this. You know, I guess that would be okay. I'm just going to add it under here. Let me see here, actually. This is not... Okay, let me try something here real quick. So if I make it a child in there, I can reposition it exactly how I had it in that scene right there by making it a child in that one and then just copying over the transforms. That's what I was doing. I'll just make that 90 degrees there. Yeah. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and save that. I might end up repositioning it there because I'm going to want to, let's just see actually. If I come over here and pick it up, actually I guess that kind of looks like it's right where I would want it to be so that I can grab it more easily with my, or make it look like I'm grabbing it with my hand whenever I go to grab it. I'm not going to actually have this character grabbing it for now. I don't think that's, and having it attached to the character, that's going to be a little bit more involved there. So I'm probably not going to show you guys how to do that. Okay, so you can kind of be creative, I guess, and you know, you should be able to handle all of that from right here on the actual weapon blueprint. You ought to be able to handle all that, and then just like grab a reference to it. You know, have a blueprint interface function on this where it will pass through a reference of the next arrow in the quiver, and he'll just kind of reach for it, and it'll look like he's kind of like grabbing the arrow, and then one of them will, and then you could have this one whenever that part of the animation, that notify on the animation triggers and on the component in here, you could have a function bound to it, which will call that blueprint interface function, which will then pass the reference to the arrow. And then this one will have it attached to the character's, hand, and then so on and so forth. Yeah, but it's gonna be pretty involved, guys. So I'm going to like not cover that in this one, just simply because it's pretty complex to resolve. So I'm not gonna, and as you probably, I've already done over 3 hours of video just for the series so far. So maybe I'll come back later and do something like that. Probably not. So I won't hold your breath. But yeah, I'm gonna try to cover all the other stuff though, like the synchronized firing and reloading. So in fact, I'm just gonna probably do a fire and reload, all like as one animation. So he fires and automatically reloads. That's gonna be how I make it work in there. So anyway, and whenever I go to do that, I will kind of go over like at what point where you could actually fire the attach event on the animation. And it won't be hard to know because it'll be when you have the character actually grab it in the animation. So anyway, I'll see you in the next video where I will be showing you guys how to make the fire and reload, or yeah, the fire and reload animations. So I'll see you in the next video.